In the years of the 1930s, Newport was a city that was in the hands of the gangsters. Crime was the rule of the day, and citizens was being scared, the police were powerless, and politicians were bought off. The top dog in the criminal underworld was Salvatore Zaza, aka the Godfather, and head of what was then known as the Zaza crime family. But things began to change as a masked man emerged from the shadows, driving around in his car, the Silver Phantom, and aided by his partner, another masked vigilante, waged war on the city's top gangland figures and other notable criminals. That man was Benjamin Benny Cohen, a city councilman, but to the city of Newport, he was simply known as the Masked Dragon. I'm Harrison Phillips, city historian and butler to the Cohen family. I'm writing a series of entries about the dragon's exploits, all his adventures, all the crimes that were committed in this city, and all the criminals he and his allies brought to justice. And in today's story, we see the team take down the city's biggest union, and on their final step into taking down the Zaza crime family. It is also here where Tony finds love with the secretary who works for the biggest union boss. This is the Dragon's Wars. To start off this story, you need to know about the state of the city was at this time. The Zaza crime family was pretty much on the run. The police were now arresting suspected members, however the big boss still remained elusive and in hiding. He was also in control of the city's biggest union, the Short Lawmen's Union. The head of the union at the time was a capo named Vito Malchio, and also was aided by the family's consigliere, Buffalo Buffs Bernardo. They were practically in charge of the union and used it to make a lot of money for the family. And now this is where really the last thing that the family was making money at that time. Now with that out of the way, let's get to the story. Detective Warren was actually going to meet an informant to uncover all the dirty deeds that the mob was doing in the union. Just as he was going to talk to the informant, 3 men came out and were about to kill the informant. However, the masked dragon came out of the shadows and decided to join in on the action.
Back off! Get away from me!
Hey! Twist like you's wasted on that greaser.
You even touched me and you're dead!
You're wasting your time. Yeah, you are a real guy.
I'm not the kind of game you mess with, pal!
Open them up. Let's see some blood. Come on, there's enough of us to finish him.
After that, they went over to the informant. It turns out the informant was a woman. Her name was Jody Jo Sherrill, a country girl who moved to the big city to find work. She essentially came forward because she couldn't live with herself with all the money being stolen from the pension and being used to extort businesses. With that, we had her go undercover if she wanted to, to find more information. As even though the evidence she came over was not really that much to stand up in court, so we needed more. We decided to they decided to pair her up with Tony at the time and go undercover for more evidence so they could prove to the courts and send everyone within the union that was crooked to prison. Over the next few months, Jody and Tony began to grow closer and eventually got into a relationship. While they were doing that, Mr. Cullen was leading an investigation to go and take down the union and essentially, take down the union through the use of the media, along with the help of Miss Scott's connections and Detective Warren's with the police department. One night, Jody and Tony found evidence of money laundering, and just when they're on their way out, they were cornered by Vito Mauccio and two other men and got into a fight.
There, sweet cheeks.
Back off! Get away from me!
Hey, twist like you's wasted on that greaser.
You even touched me in your day!
You're wasting your time. Jack, you are a real guy.
I'm not the kind of game you mess with, pal!
Open them up. Let's see some blood. Come on, there's enough of us to finish it.
After the fight, Vito managed to get his hands on Jody, and they managed to get away. Tony was left unconscious for a while, but when he quickly got up, he ran to a nearby phone and told the team that they got Jody. After what they heard, they came up with two possible locations of where they could be taken. When asked about what was going through his mind, he said to them, "We were taking down the union boss." The demon went to Buff's place to find where they would be, while the masked dragon went to the docks where he knew most of the organization guys hanged out. But when they got there, they were both ambushed by both men and were taken to the Zaza crime family estate, where they saw Jody tied up, and they soon were tied up as well. And in came Salvatore Zaza. He walked up to the two vigilantes and unmasked them. Their identities revealed. The biggest asset was revealed. They were completely exposed. To be continued.
What makes me stay?